Hello my beautiful people, you are welcome back to the channel. My name is Odunayo and you are welcome back to Beautiful Life of Women. And today we are going to be diving into some life issues like we always discuss on this channel. We talk about things that has to do with our health. We talk about how to live healthy each day, how to live life peacefully generally. So today I'm going to be talking about setting life goals. Life goals, the place of sincerity and the place of religion. Recently or I think, should I say recently or constantly, I see people talk about setting life goals and I see them struggling, to achieve these goals. And I just begin to say to myself that sometimes we set goals that are very detrimental to us, not because our intentions are wrong, but because we do not really understand what it means to set a goal. I did a video recently, I think, or not recently, about a year ago, talking about goals, but I feel that video is just too compact. It's too, a lot of things are in it, and I think it is about time we break this down. So if you know any young lady, any young boy around you, I think it would be very fair of you to share this video with them, or you call them to take about a few minutes to just listen to what I have to say to you today. When you are setting life goals, you have to be sincere with yourself. You don't set goals out of sentiment, and I'm not talking about annual goals or whatever. I'm just talking about life goals, goals that defines you, goals that ultimately determines the turn that your life makes. For instance, we set goals concerning the career we want, what we want out of it. We set goals concerning marriage. We set goals concerning our health. We set goals that has long-term effects on us. Fine, short goals are good, but today I'm just going to be talking about long-term goals. That is why I call them life goals. What do you mean by goals, or what do I mean by goals? In this context, I will define goals as what we are set to achieve at a particular time. That is what we intend to have achieved at a particular time by setting systematic actions or activities in place for it to get there. For instance, some persons set goals. I will use career for instance. You set this goal to say, oh, I want to become so at a particular time, or this. When you set these goals, you set goals within your power. When I mean within your power, you set goals that resides on you. Set goals that you are able to control. You don't set goals around others. For instance, let me use something like marriage, where we can better understand. Issues of domestic violence is very profound now. And we have people saying, oh, I want to set goals, and they say, oh, my goal is that there will not be domestic violence in my home, as part of maybe life goals or marriage goals. But that is not a goal. It is almost inachievable because it takes two to tango. What if your partner is violent? So how do you do? So your goal should be not to be a violent partner and not to marry a violent partner. That is your goal. Then your ultimate impact of what you want to have is to have a beautiful marriage. That should be the outcome of your goal, what you enjoy out of your goal. Having a beautiful marriage should not be your goal because it is an outcome. I don't know if we really understand. Why am I saying this? Recently, I saw the story of a woman, I think an older woman, who was talking about how she sets a goal to say any man that actually meets her, for the sake of YouTube, for the first time is actually going to be her husband. And she lived by it. But eventually she married an abuser. And I said to myself, that is not a goal. Sometimes we use religion to pad our goal because we want to pacify God. Your goal should have been, oh, I'm going to abstain from this until I get married. That you are able to control. What if your first exposure or your first partner is not ready to be your husband, or is actually a bad choice? So what do? There are ways you set certain goals. Now, if your goal does not have a time frame or a particular time to which you want it to be achieved, then that goal is out of it. If your goal does not have specific actions, then that is not a proper goal. If your goal does not have systematic actions. When I mean systematic, something that is step by step to say, okay, when I do this at this stage, then I do this at this stage, then I do this at this stage, then I do this at this stage, that goal is going to flop. When you set goals around other people, this is the essence of today's of my discussion with you today. When you set goals around other people, it is almost inevitable. Remember, for those of us that are Christian, Joshua said, he said, as for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord. He only spoke about his house. You can admonish people, you can hope, you can pray, you can wish. You understand that people also move in that direction, but you don't set your goal around other people, because eventually, even if at the beginning they are with you, they might change. People change. You can change. And sometimes that person is just saying it to make you happy, is agreeing with you to, you understand, just to make you happy, or because he feels, oh, that is the right thing to do. It might not really be what that person actually wants. And when you set goals, don't set goals that will make you vulnerable. I think that is the word. You can set goals that will make you serve. You can set goals that will make you take on certain responsibilities. You can set goals that will allow you to learn from other people. You can set goals that will allow you to serve other people for you to achieve that goal. But you don't set goals that will make you vulnerable. You don't set goals that will make people trample upon you, especially because you want to get to a particular career. You have to do away with your values to say, oh, my goal, my target is to be this kind of person in future, based on what we have seen people achieve, based on what we have seen in places, based on our exposure. We set all these rules, we set all these goals, but we should be careful, very careful, not to set goals that will make us eventually vulnerable to people, goals that will make people treat us anyhow, goals that will make us depressed, because at the end of the day, you are not just in total control of it. You can say, oh, I would ensure that I'm educated, or I will ensure to be, okay, I will strive to become probably a medical doctor or whatever. That one, it's still within probably your own control. And you can put time frame if possible, but sometimes we need to also be flexible for everything. Now, the reason why I said the place of sincerity and the place of religion, sometimes we set these goals and we say by faith. If you set your goal by faith and then it is hanging on God, it is okay. I'm not anti-Christianity or anti-faith or whatever, but you have to also put sincerity and be sincere with yourself. You have to analyze when you set time frames for these things. You have to analyze, you have to look at certain conditions, you have to look at your strengths, and ultimately, you don't set goals that will now make you to now start saying, oh, I want to go and pay somebody to get admission, or you want to go and design a fake result, or you don't set goals of desperation. And ultimately, you don't become a slave to your goal. If you set a goal or you have a target and you have a standard, and to achieve that goal at that point means that to compromise your stand, you compromise your standard or your values, then you should hope or hold your values and your standard in higher esteem than that goal that you intend to achieve. You don't set goals. That is why I said the place of sincerity and faith. You don't set goals and put yourself in bondage, that you now find yourself doing certain things that ordinarily you wouldn't have done. Worshipping people's feet, allowing people to trample upon you, people treat you as trash, and just do whatever they want with you, just because you want to be like so person, or you want to achieve what you think somebody else has achieved, or somebody else has actually probably narrated a very tragic life journey to you, and then it makes you believe that, oh, it must happen to everybody like that. Before you can become probably the president, then you have to kiss frogs, or I just hope that you can totally understand what I'm saying. So please, either you are young, you are old, we're in the same age bracket, I'm younger than you, I'm older than you. Please, when you set goals, setting life goals, you have to be very careful. Even when you set these goals and they are perfectly set, probably, okay, your timeline is realistic, your goal is hanging on your own responsibility and all that, and the goals are there, don't become a slave to it, especially if you have faith. And when I mean faith, either as a Christian, as a Muslim, or whatever religion, because at the end of the day, it is not really how far, but how well. when you get to the end and you have maybe achieved these things, are you happy? Have you traded your happiness to achieve what you want? Have you traded other people's happiness? Have you lost yourself? Because at the end of the day, when you get your certificate or you get the placard or you get the award and you raise it up and people are sharing you and everybody's saying, wow, congratulations. Are you not bleeding and crying inside of you? Because you know that it is no longer worth it. It has taken away from you things that are worthwhile, that are much more, that are invaluable from you. I just hope that this, my talk, let me see Odun talk today, makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Once again, my name is Odunayo, and please, if there's something you would love to add, or probably a personal experience about setting goals and becoming vulnerable, having targets or being desperate to achieve certain things and becoming vulnerable, if there's something you want to say about it, please leave it in the comment section. And if you have so much enjoyed this very short discussion, you can give this video a thumbs up, that is a like, share it with your friends, and please click on the subscribe button, be a part of this channel. And if there's any other thing you really want me to talk about, send me a message or leave a comment. Thank you so much, and see you some other time. Remember, I love you and I love you sincerely. Thank you, and bye bye.